Yo, shit's crazy. I actually fucking called it. I said Conker would get added to backwards compatibility early on during the feature's lifespan. I should have made a video on it too so I could stroke my own ego, being a fucking sidekick and be like, yeah, that's the voodoo in my Dominican blood showing. But in all seriousness though, this wasn't too hard of a call out to make. Microsoft did say that it would take longer to add in games to the OG Xbox BC list due to licensing issues and shit like that. Conker on the other hand is different though, because Conker is Rare's IP, and Rare is owned by Microsoft. And then there's also the fact that Conker Live Reloaded is pretty stigmatized by most Conker fans, so that means Microsoft didn't really need to hold it back for hype. That one's kind of a toss-up though, because it would mean that it could have gotten added whenever, but luckily we got it now instead. So, am I hyped? Kind of. This video exists of course, but not all that much because I'm reminded that I can't play the fucking game on Xbox Live, which sucks because this game's online experience was unique as fuck, and I'm not trying to say that because I dick ride the game. I'm being dead ass. Have you ever played Dark Souls online? Notice how the game has a pretty well established player etiquette or honor code or whichever the fuck you prefer calling it. Basically an imaginary rule set established by the game's player base that for the most part is followed by the majority of the player base. Conker had that shit times 50, nigga, no bullshit. The community was truly cult-like and gave the game's online experience a twist that is probably yet to be replicated anywhere else. I could go way deeper into it, but that's a video for another time. And then due to unfair stigmatization leading to a low population and lack of hype, meant that this would have a significant effect on the meta's progression rate. So to this day, there are a lot of aspects and team setups that have yet to be truly explored. For example, there was this one cheese. I used to exploit the fucking shit out of this when I first started playing Conker Online. The sneaker class or the stealth class can spawn a pair of teleporters, a sender and a receiver, and I used to exploit this so much. I would place it next to the flag, and then I'd place the other one next to the flag planting point. And at face value, this strat might seem broken as fuck, but it's really not. Like literally through fucking basic theory crafting alone, I was able to come up with a counter strat to that, and a counter strat to the counter strat, and a counter strat to the counter strat, and so on. Like it's fucking nuts. The levels in this game are underexplored as fuck. So right, the room where the flag spawns is actually kind of tight in terms of space. A thermo or a demolisher's napalm grenade, which can down a sneaker in one shot, can cover most of this room. You can also get 2 of these grenades, and to add on, have a sneaker on flag defense too, and have them place a teleporter that leads to special ordnance. That way the demolisher on defense can instantly recharge his nades without being away from the flag for too long. Quick counter just like that, right? And it keeps going too. The sneaker can go invis and jump through the window to avoid being easily seen through the 2 sight lines. The demolisher could respond to that by grabbing mines to cover the windows to force a sightline approach. Then the sneaker could push the flag while having another sneaker stay back and flush out that whole area with a snooper. Then the sneaker who provided a teleporter to the demo on defense could use the demo's death as bait to send a snooper over to flag spawn and one-shot the sneaker. You know, levels. And I didn't even mention about the sneaker on offense dropping from the top either, you know, like there's so many ways you could approach this situation that have not been explored at all. But you know, this can't really be truly explored through something like System Link on X-Link either, since the game's unlockables are locked behind Xbox Live. These upgrades are game altering too, so without those, the game can't really be played at its peak. Take the counter strat I mentioned against my teleporter strat for example. That counter strat is impossible through System Link because in order to have 2 grenades you need to unlock that upgrade, but it's locked behind Xbox Live, which honestly is one of my main gripes with the game. I don't like the fact that these things are basically locked behind a paywall. So it sucks, you know, because these are parts of the game I won't be able to experience because there's no Xbox Live, which is necessary for any of these things to happen. But at the same time, it's like, I don't really see the possibility of online being brought back to original Xbox games as that far-fetched anymore. Because you know, companies, they tend to hold stuff back to then announce said stuff further down the line to artificially extend their relevance. I mean, look at Bungie being one of the most fucking infamous for that shit, starving their consumers for content to the point where its community standards have been so dumbed down that they literally get hyped for fucking hotfixes and standard features like private lobbies. That's so sad. So you know, I wouldn't be surprised if Microsoft is holding back such an announcement for when they finally add Halos 1 and 2 to the backwards compatibility list. Conversation about adding online has already been circulating, and with the addition of the old Star Wars Battlefront games just now being added, we'll get the convo going even more, especially considering how much of a disappointment the last 2 were, and disappointment's putting it lightly too. The demand is just going to keep rising, but it needs to hit this tipping point. A tipping point where the demand warrants the work that would require bringing the service back, even if it's only exclusive to Xbox One players. According to a Reddit post, bringing back the servers would be extremely difficult for technical reasons that I don't understand and probably won't ever fucking understand. But again, if the demand's there, I think they'll figure out some way to do it. I think they're just gonna wait until they add the first 2 Halos first, and then they'll decide from there. Also, quick Conker tip before I end the video: for those of you who are looking to get into the game, if an OG Xbox Live Revival happens, you can copy other people's stats, which comes along with any of the unlockables that they have. I would usually be the last person to spread some shit like this, because when it comes to game balancing, especially because back in the day, I was one of the many people who were heavily against telling anyone about this glitch, I'm pretty conservative in terms of game balancing, and I'm extremely against a game that holds your fucking hand when the game is meant to be competitive to begin with. However, I don't like the idea of having to start off at a disadvantage. It's like if in Overwatch, as soon as you hit 100 kills with Widowmaker, right? Which is funny because the sniper in Conker is called the Widowmaker. And they're both class-based shooters where you could tag shit up. But anyway, it's like if once you hit 100 kills with Widowmaker, all your cooldowns were cut in half, and there were no options to disable it. You kept it in every single game mode, no matter what. It's unfair. What led to you getting that upgrade may have required skill, but what you gain with that upgrade gives you an unnecessary gap against another player that doesn't reflect fundamental skill, just that you grinded more. So the journey to getting the upgrade may have reflected skill, but the upgrade itself doesn't. The only thing that should ever separate you from another player should be your fundamental skill and game sense and maybe knowledge on the game's mechanics, but that's it, nothing extra. Now if you want to get these unlocks legit, go right ahead, but I mean, it doesn't really prove anything. Alright, so how do you do the stat copy glitch? I actually don't fucking remember, but I'm gonna try to. It's been 8 fucking years though, so cut me some slack if I get it wrong. So basically, you hit A on Xbox Live, then you go to leaderboard, hit A on that, and then hit A on the person's name whose gamertag that you want to copy, then double tap B to try and exit out that shit as fast as you fucking can. I'm pretty sure I got it wrong, but the glitch was really fucking basic, so if online does come back, I'm pretty sure somebody's gonna get it pretty fucking fast. Just as I'm sure the Conker veterans are probably gonna fucking eat me alive for exposing this shit, but I say that probably speaks more about them than anything else. Like, why are you gonna try and justify having people start on an uneven footing? That's the opposite of competitive, which we Conker veterans love to boast about. That our game is actually really deep and skill based, which I agree with, but by advocating to keep something a secret that would allow everyone to start on the same equal footing is counterproductive to the very thing you boast about, competition and skill. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Keep the OG Xbox Live Revive combo going. Xbox One doesn't really got any good exclusives out right now, so this is all we got left for the time being. Might as well make it as good as we can, cause why the fuck not?